Hey, what's up, my wolf pack? It's a girl, Wolfy, here for another story time. It's about my first time, or should I say, it's about how my friendship with Sharky has become how it is now. So, let's see. Um, I think it was either Little Planet 1 or 2 is when I first met Sharky. This was back when the PS3 was a huge system, and I remember when I first got it, I think my brother, bought it, and I was sharing it with him. Uh, I remember playing on the PS3 and was discovering Little Big Planet 1, and was actually I really adored the game. So, back when Little Big Planet 1 and 2 were a thing, I remember that, um, I remember one time I was in Little Big Planet and I wanted to, I thought to make a lot of online friends. So I became all nice and, I was doing the usual, just being nice to people that I meet online. And so far, so good. I've met like so many friends on my PS3. It was hard to count. So, anyways, yeah, so I was on PS3 for quite a while. Uh, I made a lot of friends. Like, I don't know how many friends I had on my list, but probably a lot because, like, there's so many people on Little Big Planet back then that was, like, so popular and everyone's, like, making levels and shit. So, like, Little Big Planet 1 was, like, the beginner, like, it was, like, the beginning of, like, making of level, or, like, the beginning of how everyone can create their own character, or blah, blah, blah. So I was just minding my own business, and I didn't know what to do or whatever. I was just like randomly just hanging out with random people I met on my friends list. And this is where I was best friends with Blaze the Cat 44. She was a old school friend back in PlayStation 3. She What happened was I was with her for a while. Like I made friends with her and her other friends that she had, and we were, doing a lot of things together. And I remember when my old, let's say, old account back then, it wasn't Wolf Girl, it was like a different account, like way different. I remember being on that account for the longest time, and I remember how I got this weird bug called spawn pop cancer, where it's where you spawn into a like level but never coming out of the spawn, like you're stuck there for a while, and it kind of pretty much like an old friend of mine was at fault for doing this, where he literally taught me how to do this weird glitch where it makes you not spawn, and it caused my entire account to get bugged out, and I couldn't spawn in levels, and in the pod it was worse. I couldn't spawn in the pod to do anything, so I was stuck in the pod screen where it makes you like you spawn in and you could pick a level when you're in the pod. So I remember suffering that until that's when I was. This was, I think it was before Blaze the Cat 44, so or after. I think it was after I was friends with Blaze the Cat 44. So I was friends with Blaze the Cat for a while, and eventually that's where I randomly ran up to one of her friends on her friends list, and his name was Godzilla7M, aka Sharky. So Sharky and I think we talked for a little bit in text. Like we both didn't have like a keyboard at the time, so we both like typed with the controller, which takes forever. But we simply just like typed to each other, and I said hi, and he said hi, and we started to get to start to talk a little bit, to get to know each other. And I don't think I did, but I feel like I did text him like, "Do you watch Godzilla or something?" Because like I think I saw a costume he wore in Little Big Planet 1. I think it was like with Little Big Planet 1. I saw his costume of a dinosaur, and I wondered what that was. And I said, "Is that Godzilla or something?" Or I think I said, "Do you watch Godzilla movies?" And he says yes. And I think I don't know why. I simply start asking a random question just to see if they know what that is. Like if it's something I like and they would like it, then I would start having, having a conversation. I didn't want it to make it, kind of like awkward and weird, so I just simply said, "Do you watch Godzilla movies?" Just to start off a conversation. He's like, "Yeah, I do." And then he started
that's where I start to be like, oh my god, someone else isn't. I'm not the only one that watches Godzilla, because every time I talk to someone about that, they just don't know what I'm talking about. So we started to get along, and I think our friendship became bigger when we actually. I remember one time when like Little Big Planet 2 was announced, and I remember getting it from one of my brother's friends that bought it for me and gave me a Sackboy plush with it, even though I don't have it anymore because I got rid of it because my dog, like she did chew on it at one time, but then she ripped off the zipper on the Sackboy plush, sadly. So I do remember having that Sackboy plush that I used in one of my Godzilla figure videos, but unfortunately I do not have Sackboy with me anymore, so rip. But if I could find it, it was just a Little Big Planet 2 Sackboy plush that everyone would always get with the Little Big Planet 2 game. So after I got Little Big Planet 2, I think I remember texting Sharky that, hey, like, I think he asked me if I have Little Big Planet 2, and I said, no, not yet, and I don't know. Might be making this shit up, but I do remember meeting up with Sharky again in Little Big Planet 2, and that's where we started to, I think eventually when we got to know each other more, uh, I think this is where we eventually I think he's the one that introduced me into role playing, like how it works and shit. I don't remember exactly because this was before I became a literate RP role player where I just like typed down a story by putting an action and putting it as a story to make it more detailed and shit. So this was before I became a literate role player because of thanks to some people that taught me to be. I was like a simple role player. Like I just typed whatever I can think of for a character to say, and then they would just like, and then Sharky would respond with that text. So this was back before we started talking to each other privately in mics. So I was just sitting there, a little bit planet, just like talking to him and texting him like, "Hey, do you want to role play or something?" And he's just like, "Sure." And this was like what we do is that we just like text, we text role play to each other on Little Big Planet where we would have different costumes for each character that we role play as, and then if the character is not present, like if we change to a different character and there are other characters that we dressed up as before, what um what we would do is that what would happen was that we would like if like the character we roleplayed as before wasn't present in the scene and we dressed up as another character for the next scene, we would technically like we would type like this character name insert character name colon and they would say what they're saying as like it's sort of like a script sort of thing where they would tell you what character you are and they would tell you what you say in as the character. So that's what we do. We if we don't dress up as that character, we just have to write the character's name in colon and then we just like say the whatever the character is saying in the background to imagine that they're still in the scene but in a different area. So it's we still do that now, but it's not like all text anymore. So yeah, we done a couple of role plays together in Little Big Planet 1. I think it was just mostly in Little Big Planet 2 when everything's all advanced now where you can add water and shit. So we pretty much did a lot of that in our pods, well mostly mine, and then eventually we grew to actually going to a Little Big Planet roleplay Sonic area where it actually gives us all the access to places that we could use for our Sonic characters to go to, along with other characters that aren't from Sonic, like anime, games, etc. So, I think before then we used nothing but like, I think before then it was nothing but just like fan Sonic characters for a while. And then we eventually evolved it into involving more characters that don't have to be from Sonic, like we involved Godzilla. I think I don't know who the first ever non-Sonic character we introduced in the roleplay, but I do remember Dark Forces with all Sonic related characters, but then we changed it to more characters that weren't Sonic. So I think because of Sharky, I started to actually like the idea of like, giving us the opportunity to have to, just to like thinking of like what would happen if this character ended up in Mobius or if this character ended up in a different place, like in a mansion or house or something. So as I was saying, we role played for a while, and eventually our friendship grew a lot stronger and our bond grew stronger where this was like I was like 13 or 14 at the time, so I didn't understand what it's like to um I never had friends in real life, so this was like before my real life friends became my friends, so I was a lonely kid, I guess you could say. I didn't have any much friends. Oh, mostly in school I had a bunch of friends, but in real life I never had any true friends. So Sharky was like the first ever friend I found online. So I think it's safe for me to say I didn't count all my PS3 friends on my friends list because they're not real people, like real life friends or anything. They're just mostly random people I met and befriended. So yeah. So ever since the whole Little Big Planet fiasco that him and I did, we just eventually started to, I think it was like while we were texting, this was where we slowly started to actually use our mics to each other. And I remember the day he was actually scared of using it because he never used a mic in front of me before. And I was eventually, I was telling him it's all okay. Nobody's gonna know about this. You and I are gonna. It's only you and I talking. Like if someone joins, you can always turn it off. So this was before party chat was a thing. So so yeah, I helped him through the anxiety of using his mic, and after a while, when he got comfortable with it, just like how I got anxiety when I was using my mic for the first time, and I actually calmed myself down and told myself, okay, it's just one time, and I got comfortable using it. So when he got comfortable around me, that's when we eventually started to use. That's when we started to use the PS3, the mic option in the PS3 in Little Big Planet, where we would roleplay and we would do voice roleplays alone, without anybody knowing that he has a voice, because he's still anxious and still does not want to share his voice due to bullying reasons, and also just because he doesn't want to share it. So he only shares it with me, so do not ask me, or, just don't ask anyone, or ask me about, don't ever ask Sharky or bug him about it, so he's not going to share your voice with you, only to me. Sorry, but it has to be that way. Anyway, so as Sharky and I got used to each other talking on mic, that's when we started to change from text role-playing to each other to immediately mic role-playing with the characters that we picked to play as. And it was a cool feature back then where the Sackboy's mouth would move every time you talk on the mic, so that's pretty cool. It's still, Sackboy still does it in Little Big Planet 3, but that's different. So we've done that for a while, and then eventually, when we did a lot of voice role playing, we did fight at times, but then we got along. That's when the PS4 became a thing, and Sharky and I were actually wanting to meet up in Little Big Planet 3. So when I got onto Little Big Planet 3, that's when him and I still did the mic thing, but then we discovered Party Chat before it was changed. So it was nice that we got to finally hear each other clearly and don't have to I think this was like after I got a better mic and was able to hear him clearly with two ears and just one. So it was a nice change. So our friendship has gotten stronger ever since Little Big Planet 3, and then it got way more stronger when him and I exchanged phone numbers to each other where we could use iMessage to talk to each other. And once that happened, at times we also did have, at times we did also, do some FaceTime. And we don't show our faces to it, we just, just turn the camera around and show videos and shit. So, yeah. So ever since then, Shark and I still stay in contact, and we're still close. And he's been like the most loyal friend I've ever had. He's like the first ever loyal friend that I never received before. So I'm very grateful that I found him and actually is best friends with him still. Uh, yeah. So, but right now, since if I could remember the exact month and year we first met, I would definitely say it would be our anniversary as friends. So, if I could think of any, I mean, if I was able to remember the date, I would be able to be like, this is our anniversary of friendship. But I'm just gonna probably I'll come up with a date that would be nice, so that him and I can celebrate it when he gets a house, that is. But right now we're still close. He's just struggling with housing right now, but I am still there for him when he needs it. And Sharky, if you ever see this, I'm glad that you and I are still friends to this day, and I hope we keep this up, and hoping to stay as friends no matter how old we get, and hopefully someday at some point we will agree to see each other in real life. That way we can be in real life friends instead of just like long distance. Even though I know my family is very strict about that because, you know, when you meet with someone online, you don't know what they look like. So, yeah. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this story time about me and Sharky's friendship. And yeah, so please, as I said before, please do not bug me or him about the whole voice mic thing. He's not going to share it with you, only to me. So please do not bug me about it. Same with Sharky. Just leave us be and just let us, just let us deal with, just leave us be and let us do our own thing. Like, don't bug us about it. But thank you all for listening for this story. I'm sorry it's a long conversation about Little Big Planet, but I just wanted to be more, just more, uh, just more stuff. But anyways, yeah, so Sharky and I are still close. We're still in contact. Right now we're texting on Amino and role-playing is mostly because we love to role-play with each other. We're pretty much role-play partners, like permanently, so we're never replacing each other. So, yeah. So Sharky and I are quite close, and we see each other as siblings. We did start dating at one time, but then we were like, you know what? I kind of see him as a brother in heart to me than anything else because, him and I, we are in common. We both laugh at each other's jokes. We're pretty much like best friends. Like, that's what best friends do. They make each other laugh and say a lot of stupid shit and actually say things out of context, even though nobody really cares. So that's why in the streams, when I rewatch them, it makes me remember how funny it was when we both started saying a lot of out of context things that did not make sense. Like we would talk about soda or whatever that's randomly out of our mouths, and we would just like laugh at something stupid. But it's how best friends are. We just come up with weird inside jokes and stupid shit, and we just like love it because it's us being friends. So I hope Sharky and I's friendship will last forever, which I'm sure it will because I can feel it already deeply. I'm always feeling it deeply that our friendship will be so strong and so strong to where we're like a family. So I see Sharky as my second family member, and I really appreciate having him as my best friend. So Sharky, I do appreciate that you're very protective of me, and I try my best to protect you, but you're better at it than myself because you're stronger. You're my shark dragon. I'm glad I got you as my moderator so that you can be my brother. So I love you, brother. I know it's safe for me to say I love you because you're my friend and I love you like you were my brother. So I love you, brother. Thank you for all the amazing years that we had together, and I'm hoping that when you do get a house, let's definitely have some fun and a nice reunion in Overwatch 2. And as I said in the stream, I promise you, I will make sure that you train so that you can become less rusty with whatever character you want to try out. So let's definitely have some fun in the future for Overwatch 2. But for now, I'm going to definitely stream on quick play so that you guys can experience what it's like. It'll probably feel weird because it's like 5 versus 5 people, but it's less chaotic, which is fine. So it's not as crazy. But anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and Sharky, as I said before, thank you for so many years of being my friend. If I left out anything, I'm sorry. It's just a lot of memories. I have to think of everything I could remember of our times when we first met, and of course the time that we had a good time together. So I'm hoping that someday, when you do get a house, that we'll definitely relive the memories of streaming together, and also, of course, we'll definitely have a nice FaceTime reunion with each other when you get a place. So yeah, so just keep me posted if anything happened, like what your dad did, and just keep me posted on any moving days whenever you're moving, so that way I can get ready and get all excited and literally jump around all excited like a dog would be when they see you. But anyway, so thank you Sharky for all the years of thank you Sharky for the years of being my best friend, and I hope it'll stay this way forever. And I love you like I love you as you are my brother. And yeah, I do hope you get a place soon so that you and I can be together again. And let's definitely have the greatest reunion ever this year, or whenever next year, whatever. I doubt it's gonna be till next year, but just anytime soon would be nice. So I hope we have that great reunion as promised, and let's definitely stream again when we get together. But first, let's deal with like FaceTiming first, and then we'll do some streams on Overwatch 2 so you can update your system and shit. So, yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for watching and listening. And Sharky, I hope you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you guys on the next Overwatch 2 video when I do some quick play after some training. Bye!